There are lots of things you can spend your tax refund on, but one thing you don't have to spend it on, a new smartphone. Switch to Metro PCS now and get not one, but 2 free 4G LTE smartphones for brands like Samsung and LG. Plus, you're on T-Mobile's blazing fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Hurry! Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free smartphones after instant rebate. One heck of a deal, only at Metro PCS. Limited time offer. Sales tax not included in phone price. Coverage and services not available everywhere. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Live from Fort Bragg's backyard, this is the show that put the 110 Nation on the map. There is only one nation, the 110 Nation, and you're listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show, covering each and every sport across the board. There is no sport too large or too little. It's time to talk the talk. Here we go. Here's the man, the founder, and your host, Mr. CJ Sports.
Welcome to the 110 Nation Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. CJ Sports. You can follow me at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sport. Also, check us out at www.the110nation.com or check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. For all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation, it's Hump Day. You know what that means? It's Wednesday. What else did you think it meant? Me. And I have a little mouse in the studio today, so yeah. Little mouse. Little mouse. Only stands about 4'11". But anyway, we got Tim Clegg joining us tonight. Mason Mitchell, Motorsports PR guy and ARCA commentator. I'm looking forward to having him joining us at 10 o'clock. And tell you what, got a couple of what should be potentially interesting games. Right now we got San Antonio up by 9 points. Over was made that 11 points up on Houston with about 5 minutes left in the second. We're going to talk a little bit about this game. And we were here kind of
WTFing it?
Yeah. She says WTF in it. We were kind of laughing at the commentators and then giving our own opinion about the Hacka player. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. The NBA really needs to do something about this, and it just really making this game boring to watch. And the second game, what probably is going to be boring to watch, is Golden State in Dallas. And I know the last loss that Golden State had was to Dallas, but I have this feeling it's not going to be the same tonight. As Golden State has just really been on point, especially the last 3 wins in, 9-10 days now, with that 34-point win over Cleveland, that 31-point over Chicago, and then that 30-point win over San Antonio. Golden State just rolling. Cam Newton, once again, speaking out of his own rear end, making ignorant statements, and we're going to talk about that as well. You can always count on good old Cam Newton to do something stupid or say something stupid. And LeBron James denies the coach killer label, even though co-owner of the Miami Heat has come out and said that he wanted Eric Spoelstra gone too. He's sticking with his guns that he's not a coach killer. So got a handful of things to talk about tonight. So very, very, very excited about that. Don't forget, we got the 110 Nation morning show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. We got the 110 Nation Sports Show Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. We got the Racing with Big Sweats. Hopefully he'll be back next week. He's been dealing with a lot of medical issues, but hopefully He'll be back, strength to be back on the air next Thursday night, but normally we have that on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Also, we got the Happy Hour Garage at 7 p.m. on Sunday, and then that's followed by the Dirt Talk Hour at 9 p.m. on Sunday night. So got a lot of shows going on. I'm still looking to expand. If you're out there and you're listening and you either want to host a show or you want to come on and help co-host, like we have multiple people come on and they're experts in different sport fields and help bring that dynamic to the show. Or maybe you got a show that you do on your own and you would like us to rebroadcast it, put it on our network. Hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. Also, we're going to start making a push and put more emphasis and focus on our blog site, the 110nationsports.com. If you're interested in writing for us, if you're out there and you're a journalist or you just want to get your work out there and want to show off your skill sets and give your opinions but don't want to come on the air, like I said, all you do is hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com, and love to have the opportunity to talk to you, get to know you, and bring you on the show, or bring you on the 110 Nation, into the 110 Nation. Gotta. Yeah. Got a lot of great things going on here at the 110 Nation. Got any money? Better go get some more change out of that. Yeah, day before payday, gotta love that. I probably got $1 in my pants pocket though. Always digging in my pants. Gotta love that. Gotta love the day before payday. Nickels and dimes just to go get something to drink. Just trying to catch up with this move. I mean, 2 weeks later and still just trying to get everything finished, finalized, and everything else. So, it's not in my wallet, be in my pants pocket. There ain't nothing in it. Ain't nothing ever in my wallet. What happens when you live with a female? There ain't never no money in my pocket or my wallet. Wow. Went straight to skipped over PG-13 and went straight to rated R with that one. Dropping F-bombs everywhere. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, sit here watching the San Antonio-Houston game. And one, for anybody that wants to sit there and try to hype up James Harden, one, you need to be shot because James Harden is about the most slack player that I've probably ever watched. And it's really an insult to the all actual players out there, the actual talented players that did not get nominated for MVP talks, and the fact that James Harden was even thrown in the MVP talks is really a slap in the face to those actual players that actually play the game, that actually play defense, and that actually don't just fall on the ground at their own free will to get fouls that are not even fouls. If you honestly believe James Harden is even amongst the top 10 or 15 in the league and is an MVP candidate, I would like you to come down to the 110 Nation studio because I got a whole backhand that would love to imprint across your mouth for allowing something that stupid to come out of your mouth. I'm honest. I got a Fayetteville Swamp Dog baseball bat that I'd love to just go ahead and just give you one good whack, maybe knock some sense into you if you honestly want to have that kind of garbage come out of your mouth. But more specifically about this game is the whole hack of Dwight and the whole hack of anybody. When is the NBA finally going to wake up and realize that nobody likes watching this? Nobody finds it interesting. Nobody is amused by it. Nobody cares to sit there and be bored with it. Nobody want to watch. And see what? James Harden did not play no defense. He just stood there and let Marcus Aldridge run laps around him and dunk while he just stood there and watched. But there's nobody, and even the commentators talk about, well, we need to get two teams together. Basically what they imply is they need to get Houston and L.A. together and go, you know what, we're just going to hack each other we're going to constantly put DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard to the line, and we're going to drag this out to be a 7-hour-long free-throw shoot-off and see how the fans and how the NBA appreciates that on primetime TV. And at this point, I kind of wish they would, because nobody in this game is starting to really get out of hand for the Houston Rockets, as you got Tim Duncan once again sitting on the bench, and San Antonio is about to be up by 20 points, and it's really starting to get out of hand for Houston. I'm not really surprised. You got a highly overrated Dwight Howard. You got James Harden, who, like I said, if you honestly, if that kind of garbage comes out of your mouth, first of all, you know nothing about basketball. Second of all, you only thing you're doing is disrespecting anybody that appreciates or plays the game of basketball. But when is the NBA going to finally say, you know what? It's gotten so bad that Danny Green fouled a player while he was out of bounds, like not even in the play, had just received the ball from the ref to throw in, hadn't even looked at his team to throw in the ball, was out of bounds, and now they're taking it to a whole new level. And the commentators were even joking, talking about, well, in between the first and second period, why don't you want someone run over there and go foul them at the period break? That way, when we start the second period or the second quarter, that they got to go ahead and start shooting free throws. It's getting beyond ridiculous with this whole hack of anything. It's bad enough this sport is gone in the direction with the whole flopping. I mean, that really, what's the whole flop thing, and more specifically, watching James Harden do it like every other play, became a thing. That's one of the things that took me away from, majority of the time, only watch Cleveland Cavalier games. It is hard for me to get involved in any other game because of there's three things four things counting the hack of garbage. And really, that's what they ought to call it. Instead of keep calling it a hack of this player and a hack of that player, just call it a hack of garbage, because they're hacking the most garbage free throw player possible. So you might as well just call it a hack of garbage. And, we might start that. We might make that trend. But there's three things that makes it where it's almost impossible to watch the NBA. One, the flop. There's no sense that a guy that is built like LeBron James or James Harden or Dwight Howard or any of these players, freaks of nature, that somebody's breeze knocks them over. Not their body, not even their sweat, but the wind from their body as they travel by knocks them over and they get a foul for it. How does this teach anybody how to play basketball? Because now you got kids watching this and think that this is appropriate to how this game is supposed to be played. Then you have the defender that slides into the way as the ball handler goes to shoot the ball, just to go lay it up, go to the rim, whatever the case may be. What makes this impossible for me to enjoy or get wrapped up into is when you have the defender slide into the way, not try to defend, but they slide into the way as the ball handler is going to the rim. And not even in a defensive move. I could see if you were there well before, let's say LeBron James is going to the rim. I can see if James Harden slides, he gets in the way before, more than a couple steps ahead of LeBron James, and puts his hands up and actually tries to defend. But what most commonly happens here is someone like James Harden will slide in. I'm just using James Harden on this. I'm not. This part is not directed towards. This part is not directed towards James Harden as an example. The flop, that's James Harden written all over it all day long. But I'm just using him because he's on TV. But watching the defender such as James Harden to slide in as LeBron is getting ready to get to that circle and then crosses their hands in front of him and takes a hit, that is not a defensive move. Therefore, at no point ever should that be called an offensive foul. I'm sorry. But because you slide in front of somebody as they're headed to the rim and not even in a defensive move, you cannot call that an offensive foul. You can't. Now, maybe if they got there before, and I'm talking not slide in and just happen to stop right as the offensive guy gets there. So you've got to be there. You can't just slide real quick and get in the way. But more specifically, you've got to have your hands up. I'm sorry, but if you slide in front of someone's way and it's not a defensive move and you're not trying to actually play defense, how in the hell is that an offensive foul? Makes no sense. There's no way that someone can stand there with their hands crossed in front of them, like they most commonly do, and it be called a charge. How does that happen? Hands up, playing defense? Sure. I can get it with it a little bit more. At least they're trying to be defensive, and at least they're making a defensive move. Hands down across the front of you, there's nothing defensive about that. That is you getting in the way of the offense, the ball carrier, and therefore that is putting you in harm's way, and really that should be considered a defensive foul no matter which way you look at it. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, if James Harden's standing outside the circle and is standing there with his hands up and just standing there, LeBron James comes from the three-point line running and charges him, then no, that's obviously not. But I'm saying, if you ain't trying to make a defensive move, there's no way that it should be called charge because you slide in front of somebody and don't make a defensive move on it. The third thing that makes the NBA almost impossible to watch is watching the three-point shooters jump into the defenders. I'm sorry, but how is that the defensive issue? When you got a defensive guy that bites the fake and jumps into the offensive player, okay, you got him off his feet, he jumped into you. Okay. 9 out of 10 times, the defender is jumping to one side of him or to the other side of him, and then you watch the three-point shooter do everything he physically possibly can, jumping clearly to the right or clearly to the left, bringing the ball all the way around, not even in a shooting form to get a foul. How is that even possible? I mean, next we're going to, you got to do a cartwheel and a backflip, and if you land it, then it's a defensive foul. If you don't, I mean, come on. It's starting to be a circus show. Is where I'm getting at this. We're getting with this. One, you got people that are fouling people that don't even have the ball. They're not even in the play for no reason, and the other team's being rewarded for it. Then you got people that. It's funny because I have about 200 people at least a day walk by me, and I have never once hit the ground because somebody's breathed was that enforceable on me that knocked me over. I wish that I would stand in front of somebody intentionally as they're going to the rim, not being defensive, just being an ass and putting my hands in front of them and get plowed over and expect it to be called a foul against them. And third of all, it would only take one time for me to clearly miss somebody and them clearly jump into me. Take one time. The next time, they're going to get their foul for it. The NBA, you got to get this under control. This has turned what used to be one of the most respected sports has turned into the biggest side circus show out of all the major sports that there is. And they wonder why ratings are down. They wonder why nobody really cares, why nobody really watches until it gets to be about the finals time. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous what the product is. I don't know if it's because the talent has just gone to the dumps, and that's the only way that they can play. I mean, could you imagine Michael Jordan just falling to the ground for no reason? Could you imagine Michael Jordan intentionally trying to jump into somebody and expect to get a foul for it? I might have seen Michael Jordan on more than one occasion kind of push somebody out of the way, but that was Michael Jordan. He got away with a lot. Not necessarily right, but he got away with a lot. But never did I see him intentionally just fall to the ground because somebody wiped their forehead and the sweat hit him, and it was just so forceful that he had to hit the ground and draw a foul for it. Never did I ever see him intentionally jump into somebody who was doing their damnedest to jump out of their way and not touch them and get a foul for it. Let somebody stand in Michael Jordan's way with their hands crossed in front of him while he's leaping from free throw range or from somewhere out of the area and see if there was a foul ever going to be called against Michael Jordan because somebody was ignorant enough to not be defensive, just get in the way at the last second. If the NBA doesn't start addressing this, as San Antonio goes to the half up 69-49, if the NBA doesn't start addressing this, the NBA is going to continue to lose fans. They're going to continue to be the last stock. We don't have this in Major League Baseball. We don't have this in the National Football League. We don't have this in the National Hockey League. Hell, we don't have this kind of ignorance even in NASCAR. I mean, you got a bunch of country folk running around in circles and still got enough common sense to make it very simplified and not do stupid stuff. That'd be like, that would almost be like, I don't even know how something that would be that comparable, that ignorant. I can't even think anything in NASCAR that they could do that would be that damn ignorant. That would. I don't even know if we can think of anything in the NFL. Only the NBA comes up with something this stupid. I know there's a lot of critics, a lot of haters, and a lot of pissed off people out there that get fed up with LeBron getting away with travel calls. And I understand that. I understand that. And it's not just LeBron. There's a lot of people get away with a lot of different things, especially when it comes to traveling. But for all those people that put all that focus and all that attention towards worrying about whether or not LeBron James takes 2 steps, 3 steps, or 5 steps, and would focus on the bigger issues, such the hack a player, the hack of garbage, or the flops, or the defense, the charge that the defenders are getting that are just ridiculous, and the 3-point shooter jumping into the defensive guys intentionally. If you would focus more on that and not worry about whether or not LeBron James takes an extra step or two, maybe this league will get better regulated and it will become a sport worth watching. Right now, because of the way the rules are, and right now because these players have found all these loopholes in the rules, honestly, it's a joke. It's beyond a joke. It is making the NBA be the butt of almost every joke out there when it comes to how leagues are ran and the rules and stuff. I don't think that there's a single person out there that I have ever talked to that likes the rules. And it's not that we're against rules, just fix the rules. Make them make sense. When you got your TV commentators constantly making comments about it, when your fans are constantly going to social media talking about it. I mean, that's what I applaud these other sports for. When there's a loophole or something that just ain't right, enough fans complain about it, they fix it. That's why NASCAR constantly is upgrading the rules, constantly trying to make it better, constantly trying to make it make sense. The NBA, they just ignore it. We're going to do what we wanted to. We're going to continue to put this slop garbage on TV, and either you're going to watch it or you're not going to watch it. We're not going to change. We're not going to fix it. We're not going to make it make sense. We're not going to make it back to what this game was originally about and how it was originally supposed to be played. We're going to continue allowing this generation of garbage that we have on the court make a mockery of all the NBA's past, all the history, all the greats. I mean, essentially what I'm getting out of every time I watch James Harden intentionally flop, which is quite often every game, is basically he's giving Michael Jordan a big F-U, Jerry West a big F-U, Magic Johnson a double F-U. Well, when I watch a three-point shooter intentionally jump into a defender, go all the way out of his way to make it look like he's got some daggone disease or something with a twitch and a jerk. You're basically telling all our previous great three-point shooters to go F themselves. Defenders that were known for their defense. Might not have been the greatest offensive players, but they were known for how they played the defense. Every time I watch a player, every time you watch a player, anytime anybody watches a player slide up in front of an offensive player and does not do it defensively, just stands in the way with their hands across the front of their crotch, they're basically saying, screw all of the defensive greats in the league, in NBA past. That's essentially what has happened. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care how you look at it. That's basically what it breaks down to. There's no other way to look at it. There's no other way to describe it. It is a big F-U. Go screw yourself. I don't care about how this game is supposed to be played. I don't care the history of this sport. I don't care how it's meant to be played. Screw it. Take my thumb, sit on it, and spin. I mean, that's the only way you can look at it. And it's really a shame. Honestly, 100% truly, it is a damn shame that the NBA has allowed it to get to this point. That the NBA has allowed all the greats to be disrespected to the level that they're being disrespected. We're going to jump from one topic, one topic that makes no sense, to another topic that makes no sense. It seems that Cam Newton, once again, wants to use the race car. And I'm here to set the record straight. Cam Newton obviously does not know his head from his posterior head. And yes, I'm keeping it very PG. One, because thankful to the I-95 Sports Radio Network, the show will be rebroadcast tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon. Just like it is, our shows are rebroadcasted every Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. And then also the Dirt Talk Hour is rebroadcast on Monday. So you could catch a 110 Nation Sports show every Monday through Saturday over on the I-95 Sports Network. I want to throw that out there. So I try to make sure I keep everything real clean because I don't know their guidelines, and I try to be respectful with it. So so when I say he can't find his head from his posterior end, that's as weird as that sounds, I got a little something. I know how to act some kind of way sometimes anyway. Newton. Your color has nothing to do why nobody cares for you. Well, I might say nobody, but why people dislike you. Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton doesn't plan to change who he is or what he says just because he's preparing for the Super Bowl and all the hype that comes with it. Newton's response to critics he'll face heading into February 7th title game against the Denver Broncos will be the same as it's been since he entered the NFL. I've said this since day one. Newton said, I'm an African-American quarterback. That may scare a lot of people because they haven't seen nothing that they can compare me to. First of all, Randall Cunningham was a much more accurate quarterback and was pretty much the same thing. But it's got nothing to do with your color. Newton has been a lightning rod for criticism for much of his career. He was called immature and moody during his first couple of NFL seasons because he sometimes sat alone on the sideline with a towel over his head when the team was losing. He's been questioned for a lack of leadership. He has been questioned for his dabbing and dancing after scoring touchdowns, for taking photos with teammates at the end of blowout wins. But Newton said he's the same person now he was when he made when the Panthers made him the first pick in the 2011 draft. The only thing that's changed is we're winning, Newton said. People should be scared of the quarterback with his skill set more than anything else. I don't think he wants to be known as an African-American quarterback. I think he wants to be known as a quarterback and a great one at that, Ron Rivera said. First of all, he's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback, not great. His inconsistency of his accuracy will make him never be a great quarterback. He's a freak in nature in his body structure. He's kind of the LeBron of the NBA, just kind of a freak in nature in the body. But where, like, LeBron James has really suffered from the accuracy of down three-point range this season and the free throw line, Cam Newton, and Cam Newton is every year, suffers from not being an accurate quarterback and at times making piss poor decisions. But with all that aside, the reason people don't care for you, for those that don't care for him, has nothing to do with, first of all, I'm not big on a run first, throw second kind of quarterback. And he's a much better runner than he is thrower. I have never been a Michael Vick fan. I wasn't even a big Randall Cunningham fan back in the day. I like my pocket pass. I like for my quarterback to see another down. I like smart quarterbacks, not just a bunch of running dummies. I like quarterbacks with high IQs that make great decisions. But more specifically, I like the pocket passer who knows how to throw the ball away. That's just me. But back to the discussion at hand here. That still also has nothing to do with why people dislike you. Yes, you might rub people wrong because you want to do a 5-minute ignorant dance after you do a touchdown, but somebody runs into a field goal post and slides down as they catch up fine. Yeah, so the league needs to be consistent on that. That doesn't help none. No, we don't need to see you do some stupid ignorant dance every time you get a first down or make a long run. And that's just not you. I think everybody needs to do away with that. I'm sorry. But especially when we see this where a player makes a good play and they're down by 3 touchdowns, is beyond ignorant. It's just about as ignorant as someone in the NBA falling to the ground because somebody's sweat hits them. I'm sorry. Same thing. More specifically now, why there are so many people that don't care for Cam Newton. Goes back on the conversation that I had yesterday when somebody called me a Pittsburgh Steelers fan when I said I dislike Cam Newton, and they took that as the same thing as Pittsburgh fans not wanting Michael Vick in the league because of what he did. I never said I didn't want Cam Newton in the league, and nor did it, what they did are even close to being comparable. But you got haters out there and people that don't understand and go with it and run with it. Okay, that's fine. The reason people dislike Cam Newton is not because he's white or black or green or purple. If any player would have done this, they would have had the same. I mean, Johnny Manziel, last time I checked, he's freaking white. People don't like him, and it has nothing to do with his one color. It's because of the ignorant stuff he's doing off the field. Same thing with Cam Newton. Luckily for Cam Newton, he has grown up some. Took him a few years in the NFL. But growing up, it didn't carry it into the NFL. Johnny Manziel just is not growing up yet at this point. People have issues with Cam Newton, such as myself, because what he did to get to the NFL. When he got kicked out of the University of Florida for stealing laptops and cheating. For the whole pay-to-play that everybody knows what happens, but because the NCAA wasn't going to do a bunch of deep soul-searching because it's the SEC, and even though all of a sudden all this money popped up, and $100,000, I believe the number was thrown out there, that's why people don't care for Cam Newton. Not because he's black. It's because all the ignorant stuff that he did. It's the same thing with James. That's like people saying, well, because James Winston's black, people don't like him. No, it's because you sexually assaulted a female, you stole crab legs, and it was something else that he did as well. I forget off the top of my head. That's why people don't like James Winston. Other than the fact that he was part of a national title team that their opponents were only 81-81, and they didn't even play the best team possible in the national title game. It took Auburn 2 miracle plays to put them into that predicament. That's why people don't like Jameson Winston. Other than the fact that he's just really not a good quarterback either. But back to Cam Newton. Has nothing to do with your color. For crying out loud, you could be purple. It don't matter. When people found out that you were a thief, that you were a cheater, that you were able to work the system and get the whole pay to play, while we got players that are getting Heisman trophies yanked from them for doing it, we got players getting kicked out of college for it, we got colleges that are on bowl bans because of similar things, and yet the NCAA just kind of turned a blind eye to what happened at Auburn. That's why people don't care for you. Nobody really cares if you're a male or a black or white. I was going to say nobody cares if you have a mangina. Yeah. The way you dress, there's a lot of questions on a lot of things right now. I think everybody's waiting, even though he just had a kid, I think everybody's waiting for him to say that was all a cover-up or that's just so I could have a child. I think everybody's truly, honestly waiting for Cam Newton to go ahead and let the closet be open. That would be the next thing, that I am black and gay. That would be the next reason. Cam, why don't you do the Carolina Panthers fans a favor? I understand there's a lot of them this year. I understand that a lot of what was Seattle fans last year and in the last few years that were some other previous team, probably the 49ers before that, and probably the Patriots fans before that, whoever's winning the Super Bowls or going to the Super Bowls, Baltimore in there. I understand that most of the Carolina Panther fan base is just leftover bandwagoners that keep switching teams year to year. Trust me, I live in the state. I've lived in the state since '98. Never have I seen this much Carolina anything. So therefore, we all of us that live in North Carolina realize how many bandwagoners there really are, because it went from seeing that tacky blue and green of Seattle, to all of a sudden now we're seeing the tacky black and blue of Carolina. And you got Carolina fans out there swearing that they've been fans since 1980. Even though those teams only been around since 95. They can't even get the dates right. That's, at least Seattle fans are better at and actually take the time to Google stuff and not sound totally ignorant. Do your fans a favor. Do the African American football players a favor. You're really sounding like a big ass right now, and yes, I know, I just threw it out there. You're really taking a few steps back for the rest of your race. Do the NFL a favor. Do those that are actually fans of you a favor. Do your sponsors a favor. Shut your damn mouth. Just play football. Nobody wants to hear your opinion because you're so far on left field. It's really insulting to the human race intelligence, which is saying a lot. Because if you pay any attention to the garbage that is being taught in the school and this whole core math, which makes no sense. I watched somebody say that if somebody had 103 that took away 28, what is they got left? And they said 75 and gave some explanation to their answers. That's what it asked. And they said, no, the estimate 100, estimate of 30, so it's 70, which just makes no sense at all. So as this new generation in the education system is designed to make the upcoming generation as stupid as humanly possible, you're still able to insult their intelligence by the ignorant garbage coming out of your mouth. So why don't you do all these people a favor? Shut your mouth. Just play football. Do your little community stuff that you got to do. Do your little United Way and 60 minutes of football. And yes, I'll give you credit. Your commercial was rather entertaining when the kid insulted you and everything else. And play football. Don't speak extra. Don't go extra long on any interviews. Don't this, don't that. Do Bill Belichick type of answers? Yes, no, don't want to talk about that. That's not on the topic list or whatever, however you want to answer it. Keep it short and simple. Because the more and more you talk, the more and more you make yourself look totally ignorant. Because if at any point you honestly believe that the dislike towards you has anything to do with your race, other than maybe those that are part of the KKK, if you honestly believe that, you're even more ignorant than I even thought you. And that's saying a lot. I was trying to give you some credit that you just weren't totally the stupidest person to play the sport. But if that's what you honestly believe, people didn't dislike Michael Vick because he was black. Yeah, a lot of people growing up wanted to try to be like Michael Vick. Now, my style of football, people wanted to be like Michael Vick. People wanted to be like Randall Cunningham. People wanted to be like Warren Moon. People wanted to be like Douglas Williams, Washington Redskins, first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Has nothing to do with your color. You have no idea how ignorant it really makes you sound at this point. I just don't. I don't get it. Some people were meant to play football. Some people were meant to talk on the radio or have a mic in front of them. Obviously, Cam Newton was never meant to go to college. I mean, hell, he had to get paid to play so he could afford to go there or do whatever he had to do, and got kicked out of the University of Florida because he was cheating and stealing. Obviously, he's not meant to have a microphone in front of his face. Obviously, he was just meant to play football, and that's it. I mean, the day should consist of get up, go work out, then go practice, then go home and that's it. Like not actually use words and not actually have sentences, because you make yourself sound even more than you sound. Just go through life clueless. I would rather think that you just are clueless than a total ignorant ass. I'm sorry, but that's quite simple. Cam Newton always want to throw. He's been throwing that out since San Antonio is just expanding on that lead. As now it's a 23-point lead, 78-55. I think San Antonio said, you know what? We got beat by 30 points, so we're going to turn around and we're going to beat someone else by 30 points. But I think that's kind of what it boiled down to. Cam Newton been trying to use that race card ever since he entered the NFL. It's never been about race. Not ever. Not when it comes to the critics. Like I said, and the only person that the race might matter to is those fans that are part of the Klan. That's got to be about it. We got Tim Clegg joining us at 10 o'clock. He is PR over at Mason Mitchell Motorsports. Of course, we've had Mason Mitchell on, I want to say, about 3 times. We also had Austin Wayne Self on. Great guys over there. Love having Mason on the show. Hell, we love having everybody that we had on last year. We had a lot of the ARCA Series drivers on. We had Grant Enfinger, who ended up being the series champion, Mason, Austin, we had Sarah, we had Josh Williams, we had, there was 2 or 3 other ones. I just drew a blank on who we had. But we had, I think essentially we ended up having like the whole top 10 eventually make the show. This year, I think that Ms. Lee has got us having a lot of the truck series guys on this year. I think that's what happened. So very, very excited about the up-and-coming roster of guests that we're having on the show. If you're interested in coming on the show, all you got to do is hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. Usually I point over in Miss Lee's direction, but I know she's still having internet issues, so I'm not able to keep up with everybody and get the emails in like she's supposed to or wanting to, so I'm having all the emails come my way until she gets everything at her end taken care of. So you guys are anybody out there, an athlete, part of some kind of athletic organization, maybe you got some kind of charity and you want to talk about and promote it, or maybe you got a show or site and you want someone to talk about it and promote it and talk about sports. All you got to do, like I said, send me at MrCJSports@gmail.com. Yeah, that was horrible. Cleveland Cavaliers LeBron James rejects coach killer claims. Seems that the fingers have been pointed at LeBron James for the dismissal of David Blatt. LeBron James has taken an awful lot of heat in the 5 days since the firing of former Cleveland Cavaliers head coach David Blatt, and he's pretty sick of it. The four-time NBA Most Valuable Player spoke with reporters after shoot-around ahead of Cleveland Cavaliers game tonight in Phoenix. Rejecting reports that he and his representative had deliberately undermined Blatt from the beginning of his tenure in 2014, and that he had a hand in Blatt's firing his subsequent replacement by longtime LeBron friend and associate head coach Tyronn Lue. James also fired back at the insinuation that Blatt's ouster is just the latest instance of a long-running pattern of James undercutting his coaches, and the 12-time All-Star merits one of the game's most dreaded two-word tags. Despite Brown's fire, James left to join the Miami Heat. When LeBron joined the Miami Heat, where according to comments made by Heat limited partner Renan Katz in the Israel radio interview on Tuesday, LeBron made it clear that he wanted to dump head coach Eric Spoelstra on multiple occasions. Katz later walked those comments away way back in the chat with the South Florida Sun Sentinel, terming them merely his opinion rather than facts based on direct knowledge. A Heat spokesperson also told the Sun Sentinel that LeBron made no such request during his time in Miami. I can't imagine coaching the greatest player in the sport right now. I'm not going to say LeBron James is the greatest of all time, but we can all agree that currently he is the best player in the league. And so, with the wealth of knowledge that he had and his basketball IQ, I can only imagine how difficult it is to coach what is essentially the greatest player in the sport right now. I can only imagine. And that's kind of what you take on. This is what you take on when you take on a head coaching role or you have LeBron James part of your roster. Now, it wasn't one of those things that these coaches had no idea that there was talk of LeBron James coming to Miami, or there's no doubt that David Blatt knew before it was done that LeBron James was coming to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So for both those people, people saying both those coaches were there before LeBron. I understand that, but they knew what was about to happen. I'm not going to defend or go against the reports because obviously I have not sat in either head office and heard comments made either way. But knowing what kind of spotlight it brings to have LeBron James a part of your roster, and the kind of pressure that comes down on having that man on your roster or being that man, if I am LeBron James and knowing my entire legacy is going to be judged on how many championships I have won, and I have coaches that are not making it possible for me to win the championships that I feel that I need to win, but yes, I'm sorry. I'm going to have my hand in the cookie jar. I am going to be part of the reason why you're no longer coaching the team. I mean, with that being said, I don't understand why Mike Brown was coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers as long as he was when LeBron James was there. I'm beyond. Mike Brown rolled up a regular season record of 272 and 138 over 5 years. I do not know why Mike Brown made it past 2 years. I'm sorry, but Mike Brown is one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in Cleveland. Your whole game plan is give LeBron the ball, and that's the extent of it. I mean, obviously that's why LeBron James didn't have a max, because the game plan was LeBron James. But when knowing Mike Brown had no knowledge at all, did not know how to actually coach a team, and for him to have 5 years of really just not doing garbage, to me, I still scratch my head on that. Tyronn Lue, the new head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who has only coached 3 games, has been announced as the Eastern Conference All-Star head coach, I'm sorry, even as a Cleveland Cavalier fan, that is kind of insulting. No. I'm sorry, but there's other coaches that should have that role at this point. You can't have someone coach three games and be the all-star head coach. I'm sorry, but this falls on either the Chicago's head coach or the Toronto's head coach at this point. The second and third best team in the league right now, or even Eric Spoelstra. I wouldn't even have a problem with him being the coach. Tyronn Lue is a rookie coach and has coached 3 games. How does that make you the man to coach the All-Star? That absolutely, positively makes no sense at all. But back to what I'm saying, if I'm LeBron James and I know everything comes down, my whole legacy comes down to how many championships that I win, and I'm having coaches not making it possible for me to win championships, then yes, I'm sorry, I'm going to be part of how you get replaced. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. That is what it is. I think this is one of those stories that is getting blown up way more than it ever should have got blown up. Because I guarantee that if it comes down to Kevin Durant leaving so he can win a championship, or them replacing a coach, I guarantee the coach is going to be the one that is going to get the axe. I guarantee that if it came down to Golden State keeping Steph Curry or replacing Steve Kerr if they didn't win championships, I guarantee that Steve Kerr would be the one to go. So that to sit there and label LeBron James as a coach killer really, to me, is kind of humorous, because you got a few special players. Steve Kerr would be one of them. LeBron James would be one of them. Kevin Durant would be one of them. We could probably name 2 or 3 other really special players in the league right now. That Kobe Bryant would have been one of them. That if it came down to either that player is going to leave to go to another team to find a championship, or we're going to replace the coach so that player can win a championship, guaranteed, 100% of the time, that coach was gone. Coach is going to be replaced. Special players such as Kobe's and Durant's and James's and so forth, they only come every so often. So every report that I have seen, every discussion that I have heard, it is really, honestly, like a slap in the face, because that makes no sense to me. Because every team you're going to, if you actually honestly have a truly gifted player, you're going to have the same scenario. But of course, because it's LeBron James, is going to be a big deal. I don't get it. Every time that it's LeBron James, I'm surprised that it was not being thrown out as a race card on that one too. No, I'm just playing. Kevin was the only one ignorant enough to use the race card and some stupid stuff. Ignorant. It's amazing sometimes. You listen to reports, and you try to, and this is why it's hard to be in the media. This is why it's hard to talk about anything or write about anything, because you've got so many people out there in the media that is looking for their end, looking for a way to put their name in the spotlight. This is so and so. He brought us Cam Newton is because of race. You got people like that will spin whatever. That's like what, Beyond the Flag? I think it's Beyond the Flag. One of those NASCAR sites. Oh my God, it's like the worst. Maybe Sports and Gold. Maybe it's both of them. It's like they have the most. They have these headlines, and you're expecting this article, and then you actually read, and it's not even anything close to what the headline to get you sucked in. Like, I wasted 5 minutes of my life reading this. You turn on some of these shows, and you listen to some of these people talk, and you're like, why did I even bother? Like, they're only doing this, and there's with a lot of LeBron James and the whole coach killer thing. You only got people out there talking about it and reporting it because they want to be part of that national spotlight right now. And it makes it hard for the rest of us in the media that are honestly trying to, do the right thing and be open and fair, but opinionated at the same time, and not to gain national spotlight, because what we honestly believe at the same time. And this is another one of those stories. Like I said, I guarantee you, if Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, if it came down to them staying or their coach going, I guarantee you would have gotten Steph Curry, another one. You would have gotten the same result every time. I'm sorry, but but like I said, because it's LeBron James, it's obviously a whole big deal. And I don't get it. Sometimes I scratch my head. I see that I got. I see we got someone in the studio. If Tim, that is you, please push 1 on your phone. That lets me know that is you. If not, you guys, whoever's in the studio or whoever's called in, just keep on listening, because that's not the same number that I got. So I'm not sure if Miss Lee gave me the wrong information or if this is just someone tuning in, listening into the show. But if this is our guest, Tim, then no. They just hung up, so obviously it's not Tim. He was supposed to call around the 10 o'clock hour. That's why I put out there, so I make sure. Wow, that was a horrible sounding sound. There you go. That was even worse. Oh, goodness. And see, this is the only downside of doing live broadcasting, is you're waiting for your guest to call in, so you don't know whether or not it's time to step into another story and continue talking, or because something's coming up, or they're not coming, or if it's time for you to, or if you want to wait, because I really hate getting into the whole topic and then have to stop and have to re-pick it back up later on. San Antonio is continuing on their dominance tonight as the third's getting ready to wrap up. Now it's a 27-point game, 100-73, as San Antonio at home really starting to do their thing. And like I said, I think tonight's game is more about I don't know what I think. After 1 year, Dolphins want to restructure Ndamukong Suh's deal. What they need to go ahead and do is just cut themselves loose of this ridiculous contract And what they honestly need to do, if they want to go ahead and keep him, what they need to do is put him on an incentive base, no guaranteed anything kind of contract, because if they got to pay him by his performance last year, Sue might be paying them. To be 100% honest with you. Aw, there was Miss Lee calling in. Aw, how sweet. Yeah. And as Shorty pointed out, then she hung up. Do want to thank Miss Lee for calling in. And thought that was there. I was make sure I didn't know if you happened to send the wrong area code or not. But I don't know every Ohio area code. I know there's a 614, a 513, and a 937. In fact, the only 419 is the Ohio area code. I don't know where 740 is. Honestly, I thought that was a North Carolina area code. 740. That is so true, and Shorty pointed out, since we're in Fort Bragg's backyard, that every area code is a North Carolina area code, because we have every walk of life here in North Carolina. But the Miami Dolphins want to restructure Ndamukong Suh's mega contract just after 1 year. And to be fair, that seemed to be their plan all along. Palm Beach Post reported that there is a clause in Suh's 6-year, $114 million contract that allows the Dolphins to take 1 year of his salary and spread it over the length of the deal. So the fact the Dolphins head into football operations, Mike Sandoval told the Palm Beach Post that the team wants to restructure the offseason isn't some crazy, unexpected development. Suh was the price of free agency last year and the biggest name to hit free agency in many years. But once he landed with the Dolphins, he was closer to Albert Hainsworth than Reggie White. Suh had 6 sacks, down from 8.5 the year before in Detroit, and the flailing Dolphins actually fell from 12th in yards allowed in 2014 to 25th last season, and they didn't sniff the playoffs. Suh, the highest paid defensive player in NFL history, didn't make the Pro Bowl. Suh was a total disaster. Pro Football Focus graded him 4th best among interior defensive linemen, but the Dolphins were much worse on defense with Suh, and their 6-10 record was their worst since 2011. They were 2 wins better in 2014 before adding Suh. The contract needed to be redone. The cap hit for Suh this year is $28.6 million, and a restructure can free up $18 million for the Dolphins, who don't have much cap room. And that's fine for the men who run the team now, who will either succeed or fail and pass off the contract to the next group of suckers who are hired to manage the front office. But the restructure doesn't simply eliminate the problem. It just chases it down the road a bit. These bills still come due on the salary cap. I'll tell you what, Suh, the Dolphins knew what they were getting when they went into the free agency. And I'm not saying that Suh was this horrible player. He was a good player. But you also knew that you were not getting 100%. And you also knew that you were getting someone that did not like to play the sport by the rules. That's the two things you didn't know. So why you offer somebody a contract that you knew that extensive of a contract, that you knew, one, was not a team player, two, that you knew that there was a good possibility that at least once, but probably multiple times in this contract, he is going to be suspended for dirty playing or not playing inside the rules. And then three, you knew that you were not going to get 100% out of him every single play. It's beyond me why you made him the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. It is beyond me. All these contracts with all these guaranteed monies, I'm sorry, but I'm not guaranteeing nothing. First of all, if I had to bust my butt, and if I didn't have to bust my butt and I got lucky and won the lottery or have it passed down to me, either way, if I'm an owner of $1 billion team, I'm doing everything I can to make my team stay a $1 billion team. I'm going to do everything to secure my best interest. So all these guaranteed contracts, I'm going to be like Oakland. I'm going to have one of and speaking of, I do what? I'm sorry. Miss Lee, you got to resend that. That makes no sense to me at all, what you just messaged, and I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. Sheet to push one. Oh. Okay, gotcha. The whole push one cruise instead of cuz BTR. That really threw me off there, man. I got it now. But I'm going to be more like the Oakland Athletics. I'm not spending a bunch of money. I'm going to have a lower-ended salary team and get the best out of it. I'm going to set myself up for the best possible success I can. And I'm sorry, guaranteed money is not something that I'm interested in doing. I'm going to pay you good, but it's going to be incentive-based. I'm sorry. You perform well, you get paid. I'm going to take care. You take care of me, I take care of you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Hell, you bring me enough home. There you go. I'm about to really go. I'm really about to clear the air here. You bring me enough Super Bowls, I might scratch something else. I might scratch your butt or something. I might tickle your pinky toe. Shorty over here shaking her head.
And that's why I scratch your back all the time.
I'm sorry, but this everybody feels that players should be guaranteed money. I mean, people still laughing at St. Louis Rams for that ridiculous guaranteed money for Sam Bradford. You want to talk about ridiculous? Bobby Manila ain't been in baseball for 20 years and still getting $1 million a year? No. I'm sorry, but I don't know when the sporting world turned into we're going to guarantee you money. You want guaranteed, I'll guarantee you $1 million. That's it. I'm sorry, but at work, I'm not guaranteed nothing. I'm guaranteed to make what I make an hour, but I'm not guaranteed no hours. If I don't perform, I'm not getting nothing. My hours are performance-based. Any other job is performance-based. If it be your salary, if it be your bonuses, if it be how many hours you get, it's all performance-based. Why do people think that the sporting world is something different, that they're supposed to be guaranteed everything, that they're not supposed to have to actually earn their keep? Why is performance not supposed to be part of or more of a deciding factor? I'm sorry, but it's probably the reason why I don't own a professional team, other than I don't have $1 billion laying around. But probably a good reason, because I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm gonna pay you wealthy. If you perform to the level of Tom Brady, I'm gonna pay you what Tom Brady is getting, or I'm going to pay you to be the highest paid quarterback. But it's going to be off incentive based. You're going to have to perform. You're going to have to show me something. And as a whole team, it's going to be an incentive based as well. You go to the Super Bowl, you're probably looking at one of the highest paid teams in the NFL that year. Now, next year, if we fall flat on our face and we go 2-14, then we might be the lowest paid team in the NFL. Don't go out and buy 20 cars. Don't go make up a whole closet the size of a house to put shoes in, because there's no guarantee next year you're going to make what you make this year, depending on it all depends on how you perform. I guarantee the sporting world and the level of play and the team expectations and everything else, I guarantee would look totally different if we weren't guaranteeing all this money. Yeah, we'll give you a signing bonus. Here's $1 million. Everything else you're playing for. Everything else you're going to prove yourself. Only clause that should be thrown in there is due to injury. Okay, if you get injured, you're guaranteed at least make this odd $1 million. Okay, you get injured, what you've done to this point, and now if obviously you get hurt before the season, then, okay, there's got to be at least a base minimum. Okay, you're going to at least make $2 million. I'm sorry, but to guarantee someone's going to make $20 million and they get hurt and don't play all season long, I know it's not their fault they got hurt 9 out of 10 times, but why should a team should be stuck with the bill of paying somebody $20 million to stand on the or sit on the sidelines, whatever the injury may be, and I know it's tough love and everything else, and like I said, 9 out of 10 times I know the injury is not the player's fault, but it's also not the team's fault, and that money could be focused other places and used to help bring on more players or better players. At my job, do you think that we would have a profitable store if we guaranteed everybody a high salary and guaranteed them 40 hours, regardless what the performance was, regardless what the store's performance was? No. We took a store that was hardly profitable at one time to we are one of the most profitable stores in our market. And we are, by no stretch of the imagination, one of the busiest stores. We just do very good with our budgeting. We do very good and are very efficient at what we do and how we do things. We were recognized in our whole district in the last meeting for being well above what our budgeted profit was supposed to be. One of the highest budget profit margins in the district. I know it's a sport, but they're ran like businesses. So I'm not quite getting where this is all getting mixed up. I'm not quite getting why this is such a I don't know, far-fetched idea. I mean, to me, it's not too far-fetched. Let's pay based off of performance. You won't have teams getting stuck with contracts like they did with Nautical Sioux, 6 years, $114. I mean, good God Almighty, six sacks, $114 million to have. We you know me. Y'all know what's coming. Y'all know what is coming. This is Mr. CJ Sports about to break this down for you guys real quick, like. You let me do it real quick, like. It's making me think like real long, like. Come on. $114 million. There's a lot of zeros with $114 million. More zeros than I'll ever see. Look, I'm just sitting here hitting zeros on the calculator. $19 million a year. So we can do this one of two ways to kind of make an example how ridiculous this contract is. One, we can say Sue made 3.16 all the way through. Just short of $3.2 million a sack this year. You can look at it that way. We can look at it as he got just short of $1.2 million a game to do nothing. Makes you guarantee that they wish that this would have been more of an incentive-based contract. I mean, $3.2 million a sack, I guarantee that's not what they would have paid on an incentive basis. I know a lot of players are not going to be down with that, but if every team did it instead of you having one team doing it, not another team not doing it, so everybody want to go stack up on one of the teams that do the guarantee contract. Obviously, it's a system that wouldn't work because everybody runs to the teams that get guaranteed money. What if the NFL, all the owners got together and said, you know what? How about we stop doing the guarantee contract? How about we guarantee them a base of maybe $1 million, set up something in case they get injured. Everything else is set at a big. Pay him $1 million a sack. And that might be a little cheap, but you know what I mean. $2.5 million. So you got some players that make $10 million a season. Plus so many tackles, you get paid. Interception, you get paid. Play every game, you get paid. Makes them work for that $19 million. Why is it we just hand them $19 million? Why is it that now he's getting paid $3.2 million a sack, or okay, let's throw everything else he did this season, and you're probably looking at least a couple $1 million a sack? Because Sue didn't really do much this year. The ridiculousness of the contract. I tell you what, the more and more I see these contracts, and the more and more I break these contracts down. I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the season when LeBron got that lifetime contract with Nike, and essentially we know he's at least, at a minimum, at least making $200,000 a day. It really makes me wish I go back to when I was going into 6th grade, and my stepfather told me that I had to take the football season off because my mom was pregnant, and fought with every fiber in my body to be out there in that field. Or the next year, when I got back into it, instead of once I got out, it didn't feel like doing it because I'd played for so long in 2 sports and everything else, and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not doing it no more. I really wish, knowing what I know now and the ridiculousness of the contracts that are made in the sports, I really wish that I could go back. Well, I say that, but then if I go back, then I wouldn't have my daughter, my son, Shorty, everything that I have now. Not quite living the life that we would like to live, but like we discussed last night, there's a lot of people worse off than we are. So we really have nothing to complain about. We live in a nice place. We have at least one working vehicle, healthy kids. Both have jobs, have decent jobs. Hers pays a little bit more than mine. I love mine. She hates hers. So, I mean, can't really complain about too much. But yes, a part of me just wishes that, if I'd stuck it out or fought or forgot to, if I'd have stuck it out, or if I would have fought to get back or not be able to not have to take that season off. My stepfather made me take it off because my mom was pregnant, and he just didn't want her out there with his precious cargo in the Ohio heat. Not the North Carolina or Florida heat, but the Ohio heat. That low to mid-90s at most, no humidity heat, not the 100 and some odd degrees in North Carolina or Florida plus humidity heat, the totally exact, extreme differences. But in that precious cargo that he has nothing to do with and has not had anything to do with either one of his sons, my brothers, in years, and is pretty much disowning them. Yeah, that precious cargo. That's why I had to quit. And for those that don't know my background when it comes to sports, I played 3 years football, 2 years I was a running back. Offensively and defensively, I've played just about everything. Defensive end, linebacker, cornerback, safety. I was the best of the best on my team. I was the man. That season I had to take off, I had the coaches come to me repeatedly wanting me to play football, and I just couldn't play. And then I played baseball. Started off as a pitcher, once I took that first, it was a couple of years of being a pitcher, but after I had one come straight back at me twice as fast as I threw that ball, I didn't really care to be on the mound too many more times. I mean, I did it, but I just didn't care for it. Second base, shortstop, outfielder. My favorite position, though, that I played the most was catcher. Was a good hitter. Not a deep ball. The few home runs I had were all in the park home runs. But I played I played football. I played baseball. Baseball I played much longer, many more years. Obviously, I started off in T-ball, but I spent a lot more years in baseball than I did playing football. Also bowled. A lot of people don't consider it a sport. I'm kind of on the fence of that. It takes skills, and you got to have some kind of strength. You got to throw a 10 to 16, with 14 to 18 pound ball, I guess. You got to have some kind of skill with that. Played in many leagues. Best game, 1 pin short of a perfect game. I had 3 strikes, I had 9 open, struck out the rest of the game. Outside of that, competitively, the only thing else I did is bench press competitions, placed 3rd and 1st in my weight class, something that I honestly, truly would love to get back into. I love being in the gym. I'm competing now. I would be in the Masters category. In other words, I'm part of the old people's group. No longer have to really worry about the weight class, even though I would want to put myself in a premier situation there. But that's me in a nutshell. I've always been into sports, always been very competitive. Really wish, I don't care what sport, even bowling. I really wish that if I'd have known now, if I'd have known then what I know now, especially with the contracts, it might have influenced me to, I don't know, be in the sports longer or fought my way to not have to stop or got back into it, whatever the case may be. I think my biggest downfall was next year coming up, I was thinking about wrestling as well. That was something I was supposed to do, and it never ended up happening. So that is what it is. But make sure that you guys check us out. God, it's getting almost to be a 30 by San Antonio. 3 minutes left. 121 to 93. And San Antonio just keeps spreading. Like I said, I think tonight was more one of those things that, look, we're going to pay. We're going to take our frustrations out on you. Yeah. Versus, and you know, this whole Golden State thing. I've talked about this before, and I got to talk about this again. You know, at the beginning of the season, I found myself watching some games. I got over being butthurt that my team lost, Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, I found myself interested in watching the game. I wanted to watch to see where they were going to hit these threes, how ridiculous, distance, difficult, everything. And then as they started to rack up the wins and they got into the late teens and the 20s, I found myself to get rather bored with it. I don't want to watch blowout games. I'm sorry, but I don't even care if it's Cleveland. If they're a blowout game, I'm not paying attention to it no more. I don't care to watch Cleveland win by 30 points or any other team to win by 30 points for that matter. Most of the fourth quarters of the players that I want to see are not even playing, so it's really pointless. Then you had a few games out there that Golden State lost, and so you got interested into watching how they were going to bounce back. And those games were pretty ridiculous as well. I tried, and honestly, I was 100% committed and excited about watching the San Antonio and Golden State game. I honestly thought that this was going to be a game that I could finally get into, a close, competitive game. And you know, too many of these games that I've watched Golden State or seen the highlights of Golden State, 30-point wins, 25-point wins, 20-point wins, was up by 40 points at some point, and with all the starters sitting on the bench for pretty much the whole fourth quarter. I think they sat there talking about Draymond Green and Seth Curry sitting out the whole fourth quarter in that 30-point win over San Antonio. It just gets ridiculous to watch. And so, honestly thought the San Antonio game was one of those games that's fine. We're finally going to see a competitive game. Didn't happen. No, nothing against the Golden State Warriors. Mad respect for what you're doing. Yes, obviously it's an inconvenient time for us Cleveland Cavalier fans because Cleveland is going above and beyond getting any player that is worth anything out there, and we're well above the luxury tax, and we're all in on this project of winning the championship, and had high hopes after losing in 6 games last year with Kyrie and Love sitting out because of injuries. And yes, it's a really big inconvenience because right now at this point I don't think anybody's going to beat Golden State in a 7-game series. I don't think that anybody can beat Golden State in a best-of-3 series. I think that periodically the Golden State Warriors will either be just slammed, wore out with back-to-back road trip games and everything else, or just have a really off night, which has only happened 4 times in like 40-something games now. I don't think anybody can beat the Golden State Warriors even in a 3-game, let alone a 7-game series. So I have a lot of respect for Golden State. I have a lot of respect for Steve Kerr and Luke Walton. I have a lot of respect. I have a ton of respect for Steph Curry and what he can do. But for me to sit down and watch any Golden State games between now and playoffs, probably not going to. I made mention earlier of us watching the Dallas and Golden State game, which is getting dreaded beyond any second now at this point. And I honestly, at this point, once Shorty brought up she wanted to watch a movie that we have that either she's not watched or just ain't watching in a while, wanted to watch it again. I was like, you know what?
No, I was like, you know what?
I thought about watching the game, and I had brought it up earlier in the night. But honestly, an Adam Sandler movie right now seems to be a lot more interesting than watching the Golden State Warriors blow out another team. I'm sorry, but I know Dallas beat Golden State in one of the 4 games they lost, but it's not happening tonight. Golden State is going to make an example out of Dallas, and we pretty much let you have that game because we're 39 straight home games, and we're about to we're about to show you what Golden State Warrior basketball is really about. That's what's about to go down tonight. So, in the spirit of the fact that I can't bring myself to sit here and watch another blowout game, once I get off here, I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to kick my feet up. I'm going to watch a movie instead of watching the Golden State Warriors beat the crap out of someone once again. I honestly thought the San Antonio-Houston game would be a little bit closer. I didn't think it was going to be a 30-point blowout. I knew that San Antonio was going to beat Houston, but I didn't think it was going to be this big of a blowout. Golden State Warrior fans, I applaud you.
What are you saying?
Takes dedication. That's why I applaud. I just said I couldn't sit there and watch Golden State, or I couldn't watch the Cleveland Cavaliers win by 30 points every night. I would be bored with it. I couldn't. I don't want to watch the fourth quarter and know LeBron James is going to be sitting on the bench. Kyrie Irving's going to be sitting on the bench. Kevin Love's going to be sitting on the bench. So we're going to have a bunch of second and third string players playing the fourth quarter in a 30-point blowout game that is really not that interesting. At most, I will make it to halftime, and that's about it. Then I will do other things and kind of poke my head in if we still keep it on the TV, but I'm not going to sit there and watch it. They're just, I can't do it. So I applaud all the Golden State fans, Warrior fans out there that religiously and dedicatedly watch their team win by 30 points every night. Me personally, I don't have that kind of patience or that kind of attention. And you know this, because once the games get out of hand, I start flipping through the channels and watching Sports Center, or I start watching. When is that? When is that? Tomorrow night?
Saturday.
8:30 Saturday night. I already set on DVR to record.
I won't be here.
San Antonio. I already watched it, but. But yeah. I applaud you guys because I couldn't. I really couldn't. There's certain sports I can't watch teams win all the time. I think college football, the Ohio State Buckeyes, watching them win every year, I could because there's 200 some odd colleges. So there's plenty of games to watch and there's plenty of games going on. There's not too many sports that I can watch a team, one, win all the time, but two, do it like Golden State's doing. I can't do it. Just want to throw a little fun fact out there real quick. For those that are friends with me, my personal Facebook page, or those that follow me on Facebook, Mr. CJ Sports, I shared something today, a video that I recorded from our video footage at my work of one of my new employees. I think he's worked maybe 2 days at my shift, or at my store, and he spent 2 days training somewhere else. I decided he was going to come up today and buy a couple packs of cigarettes, and obviously didn't know the difference between a break and gas. And as I'm socializing with a couple customers, regulars, one owns Pro Tent on Main Street here in Spring Lake, and another one that works at Cedar Point in Spring Lake right behind us. As we're conversating, all of a sudden we hear, boom! And I look up, and my new employee decided the parking lot was not where he was going to park his car, but up on the sidewalk, hitting my icebox machine outside was where he was going to park today. And so you want a good laugh, if you are friends with me personally, or if you're following my fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, you could check out the video of this man riding straight through the parking spot up into the icebox machine. Luckily, didn't do no damage to anything, didn't hit that hard, just enough you could hear his brakes squeal and hit his butt as the icebox machine hit the building because he pushed it all the way back now. Comes in, and said his foot slipped off the brake. And then he proceeded to tell us that he hasn't done this in a while. I could only shake my head at this point and think to myself, so, how many times has he done this if he's not done this in a while? And I'm also thinking to myself, so, I would not tell anybody this is something that I've done on a regular basis or even before. This would have been my first time, regardless how many times I have done this. That's just me. Then he went on to say that I guess I shouldn't be driving right now. I don't know where he just came from or what he was doing. Other than that, when he bought his cigarettes, his hands were shaking really bad. So obviously he was like still scared of the fact that he just about ran through my building. But yes, for those that want a little chuckle, go and check my personal page or go like me on Facebook, Mr. CJ Sports. I shared it over there as well, and you could get a good laugh of my new employee that was obviously eager to be at his job. Oh, the things that we see just amazes me sometimes at my job. That I have at my job. I got to admit, I honestly thought that the whole Carolina Panther conversation would have been beat into the ground by now. There's been a few Carolina Panther fans come in, but not as many as I was expecting, as much as I was promoting the fact that I had Arizona and New England since preseason, and that's not what happened. And for those that are curious, yes, I posted earlier in the week that, or I posted last week that I had $75 million on the line for the Carolina and Arizona game. Don't look in too hard into it. If I had $75 million laying around, that's things would be a lot different here at the 110 Nation. But we had a Powerball ticket, so he potentially could have won $75 million tonight. $75 million is the Powerball tonight, and we had a Powerball ticket bet on the line. Therefore, $75 million potentially is on the line.
How would you be if you won that?
Knowing that customer, he probably would break me off a little something, so no, I wouldn't be that pissed. If it was meant for me to win, I would win. If it was in God's plan for me to win the lottery, I would win the lottery. So I could not be pissed because I lost the bet. One, because I know that as regular as he is and as much as we talk, he would break me off something. But two, I can't be pissed when it was not in God's plan for me to win the Powerball. I'm sorry, but... And for those that couldn't hear the question, Shorty asked, how pissed would I be if he ends up winning the Powerball? Well, I might dislike the Panthers even more than I already dislike them, but I would be ill feelings towards him. I honestly believe that he would break me off a little something. But for those that were curious on and saw the post, that's how $75 million was on the line. It's because a Powerball bet was on the line. And so, therefore, technically, $75 million is potentially on the line. So, I did pay up my bet. I'm a man of my word. It's probably one of the cheaper bets. I'm already locked in for the block pool. And for those that are curious, yes, I have blocks 1 and 10 for the 110 Nation. I went ahead and reserved my 2 blocks before the sheet was even, or the blocks were even reserved. And the blocks aren't even up for sale yet, so... If you want to get a couple blocks, you can get them. They're not up for sale. Those are just reserved already ahead of time for the 110 Nation. I have a little pull, a little bit. Just a little bit of pull. But the demand that I paid off, the Powerball bet, it was a $2 ticket. We agreed to that. Wanted to bet me again. Do I want to? And I was like, no. As much as I want the Denver Broncos to win this game, and as much as it's going to piss me off that if they lose and the Carolina Panthers win, I honestly believe that the Carolina Panthers are going to win. One, because Denver is not consistent enough, nor has Peyton Manning been consistent enough all season long. Got to remember, when they started off with 6-0, a lot of people were questioning whether or not Peyton Manning should even be playing, and the defense carried him. Then he was out for the rest of the season until the last game, the last half or last quarter of the game, and then the playoff game. But also, part of my madness here is it seems that more times than none lately, the team that I think is going to win and the team I pick win ends up losing. So therefore, if I pick the Carolina Panthers, who I honestly think will win, it could jinx them to lose, and therefore my feelings necessarily wouldn't be hurt so bad. But no, I'm not going to bet against the Carolina Panthers for anybody who comes at me and asks me anything. And for those that want to know, yes, I need the Denver Broncos to win. But deep down inside of me, unfortunately, I think the Denver Broncos did the Carolina Panthers won by beating the New England Patriots. And therefore, I think that the Carolina Panthers are going to be Super Bowl 50 winners. And I think that this season is just going to be one just big disappointing season. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, Panthers owner sending every team employee to the Super Bowl. If you get a chance to play in the Super Bowl, you have enjoyed the moment because it may never happen again. Panthers owner Jerry Richardson apparently understands how tough it is to reach the NFL's biggest stage. It's only happened twice in the Carolina Panthers history, and the first time they alone threw like 5 or 6 interceptions. Panther president, since the mid-'80s, some of these fans claim to have been Panther fans since. Panthers president Danny Morrison revealed that everyone from the intern up will make the trip to Santa Clara, and whether it's storing up karma or just a really nice gesture, we can only tip our hat to the organization for an extremely generous gesture. And you know, it's really cool. And if those Panther employees would like a place to stay, that's a little out of the ordinary. They can rent this Bay Area treehouse for $495 per night during Super Bowl week. Our little treehouse, known for grown-ups, offers the best of both worlds, securely nestled above it all in a quiet, urban, forested canyon with a beautiful view of the bay, 15 minutes to San Francisco, close to a SFO and train station, and easily scenic drive to the Pacific Ocean in Silicon Valley. Like that, really, really cool gesture. You know, not too many team owners do this for their organization, and you know, and obviously only 2 trips to the Super Bowl in the 20-year history. Obviously, helps make a owner appreciate not only what the team has done and appreciate being there, but appreciate everybody that had a helping hand in making this possible. From the littlest of littlest persons all the way up to Cam Newton, who will probably win the MVP this year. There might not be a lot of things that I can say or want to say positive about anything to do with the Carolina Panthers, but that is one thing that I honestly can say is a really cool thing, and you know, it's just really cool that the owner. I guess you have a $1 billion team. You know, it should be happening more often, as you obviously are beyond wealthy, and you're profiting by everything that has to do with the Carolina Panthers. But it's really cool to be able to see an organization be able to do something like that, and go, you know, and see an owner come out of pocket to do something so genuinely good-hearted. Like I said, like it was before, it don't matter if it's karma or what the case may be. Regardless what his motive is, it is really cool to see an owner go above and beyond and, you know, make it possible for all those. You got to figure all those people that work every single game, and I know it's got to be a cool job to have to work at a stadium. Yes, you're going to have your ups and downs, but you get to be there at your home team every single home game. You got 8 games a year that you get to show up to the stadium. And yes, I've worked vending events, and I know how hectic it can be. And I'm sure if you work at the Papa John's at the stadium or whatever pizza places there, or the Chick-fil-A's, I know they got Chick-fil-A's at all the racetracks. I know how hectic it can be with all those fans, and you got a short amount of time to move everybody. But and there's not too many games and stuff that you actually get to see because you're there to work. You're not there to watch the game. But I couldn't imagine going and help, you know, be part. And regardless how you look at it, they're part of the organization. They help feed the fan base. And you know, as simple as it is and as meaningless it is to a lot of people, you know, that they help make that whole stadium work as a unit. To see somebody take that time to appreciate, I mean, and that to be as simple as, you know, someone working for an organization, and because they get nationally recognized or something, that they take care of everybody all the way down to the smallest person in the company. And, you know, make it possible for them to be part of recognizing being the best of the best. And, you know, that says a lot of class by the owner and the organization. And, you know, kudos to Jerry Richardson for making that possible and rewarding his staff. Now, how many get to go? Because how many get to afford $500 a night at a hotel? And I'm sure that is not the expense for all the hotels, but I'm willing to bet, unless you're willing to drive a few hours, you're probably going to pay quite a few $100s. And I don't think the travel is going to be covered as well, so I'm assuming you got to find your way there. I'm assuming the only thing that has been taken care of is the actual Super Bowl ticket, which is an extremely expensive ticket. And I'm sure for those that don't go, they're going to be selling their ticket and making their money off of it. But it's cool that they've even offered, you know, that opportunity for them to be able to have this chance, because, you know, most owners don't even do that much. And to see that not only did, you know, he do that much, he's trying to make it possible outside of making it expense-free. Like I said, I'm assuming they got to pay for their own travel and they got to pay for their own lodging. But at least, you know, I know the Super Bowl tickets, you're looking at the thousands mark, so at least $1,000 for a ticket at a minimum. I have no idea what a Super Bowl ticket runs for, but I'd be willing to bet at least a G at a minimum. At least that he's making that much of it possible for these people. And like I said, not everybody's going to be able to go, because, you know, some of those people do work the vending and work just as the cleanup crew or the parking lot attendants, and only making, you know, $10 or $8 or whatever they pay everybody. So not everybody's going to be able to afford. You know, if I was granted a ticket to the Super Bowl for free, I guarantee you I would find a way to go, but it would be very, very difficult for the expenses of the traveling all the way clear across the United States, and to find somewhere to stay. And me, I would probably just stay up all night, or I would go find somewhere, buy some food, and nap somewhere. That's about how I would have to do it. I couldn't imagine paying $200 to $500 for a room. And I'd be willing to bet the cheapest room you're going to find is probably a couple hours away for a couple $100. So, yes, the adults-only hotel. Man, that's where we stayed when we went to Homestead. It was about an hour from the track, and it was called the, I forget what it was called. What was it? Hialeah's Executive Hotel or Motel, and it was a quote-unquote adults-only hotel. It was an interesting room. It was an interesting hotel. It was not bad. We didn't get anything because we went in there, we watched TV for 5 minutes, took a shower, and fell asleep. Of course, we didn't get nothing. But it was an interesting hotel. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed the restaurant we went to that night, too. That was really cool. We had some Mexican food.
No,
Cuban?
Cuban food.
All right. I was Mexican. I got steak. I didn't care.
You're in Miami. Miami is like.
Okay, well,
are you
we
serious?
weren't in Miami. We were an hour from Miami, and I thought it was a Mexican restaurant.
That was Miami. It was still Miami.
I just thought it was a Mexican restaurant. I don't know. I ate steak. I didn't care. I had steak and I had rice. I just assumed.
An awful assumption.
Yeah.
Mexicans don't eat white rice like that. They don't. They eat brown rice. They eat dirty rice.
Okay, what kind of rice? I have dirty rice. I have brown rice when I eat Chinese food. Anyway. Anywho. Kudos to them. But anyway, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Alarms have been set. I will not have a massive late night. I don't even know if I got done talking about the Golden State. Not that it made a difference in that Golden State San Antonio game the other night, because I didn't get off until mad late, obviously, because we didn't have a show Monday night. By the time I was done work, showered, and finally laid in bed, it was almost 3 o'clock in the morning anyway. So I wasn't totally disappointed that it was a blowout game. I didn't get to watch it anyway. I would have really been upset if it would have been a fun game. And the Golden State game's already turned out to be one of those games that's not going to be fun to watch because it's already 20-6, and we're over halfway through the first. And so I don't think it's going to get any closer. It'll probably get even horribly worse. It'll probably be a 20-point advantage for Golden State by the time the first even ends. So, well, maybe not. He just buried that 3. But not expecting much. But anyway, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, the 110 Nation Morning Show. Make sure you guys check us out. Tune in. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., the 110 Nation Sports Show. We'll be back here doing it again. Hopefully next week. We will have Racing with Big Sweat on as well. Waiting to get the word on him getting his health back together. He suffered some very serious medical setbacks over the last month or two. I talked to him yesterday or today, I can't remember. We messaged back and forth, and he's getting stronger and he's getting healthier, and he's excited about being back. We're just kind of taking it slow. He's going to let me know when he's ready to come back and ready to be back on the air, so looking forward to that. Don't forget, shows Friday, 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. as well. And then don't forget, we got the happy hour garage at 7 p.m. on Sunday. And then we got the Dirt Talk Hour, 9 p.m. Sunday night. 3 hours of back-to-back racing shows. Do not miss it. One hell of a night. Hoping to finish working out the details with another racing show so we can butt that up and have 5 hours of nothing but racing shows on Sunday. That is what the goal is here, and that's what we're hoping to work out. But I know we're going to at least have 3 hours of racing shows this week. Excuse me. So make sure you guys tune in. Also, if you do not like us or follow us on Twitter, you can follow me at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also, if you do not like us on Facebook, you can like my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports. You can like the 110 because the 110 Nation Sports fan page. Also, you can like the Sunday nights fan page, as they have a fan page for the Sunday night show. The Dirt Talk Hour, from the shop to the track. Make sure you guys check them out. A lot of great stuff over there as well. Check out our site, www.the110nation.com. Check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com, for all the latest going on over here at the 110 Nation. Also, if you're interested in co-hosting or hosting a show, writing for our blog site, or maybe you have a show that you do and you would like for us to, if you're independent, or you have permission to rebroadcast on another network, hit me up as well, mrcjsports@gmail.com. And also, if you're interested in coming on the show, maybe you're an athlete, part of some kind of athletic organization, team, whatever the scenario may be. Maybe you got a show or site you want to come on and promote it and talk sports as well, or maybe you got some kind of foundation, charity, or something like that going on. All you got to do is hit me up, mrcjsports@gmail.com. Usually I send them over to Miss Lee's way. But she's been having internet issues, and so until she gets all that worked out, you guys send it my way, and I will talk to her personally through Facebook and make sure we got everything lined up. I know she's working on it, and we expect to have Miss Lee back 100% here real soon. But to prevent any, I don't know the 100% of what's going on. So just to make sure we don't miss anything, just send them my way, mrcjsports@gmail.com. I get everything, and then I will send her way. So we keep the scheduling going through her, so we don't overlap anything, but just to make sure nothing gets lost, or we're able to get all this just my way until she gets everything done, taken care of. But trying to think if there's anything else that I need to put out there. Sorry we didn't get Tim Clegg on here tonight. Not quite sure what happened, but hopefully we will be in contact with him, and hopefully we'll get him on here the next day or so. We'll find out. I'm sure that I'll probably find out after the show, as Miss Lee is listening, and hopefully she has some kind of insight. But if not, she's already got other people lined up, and she's already got other people ready to come on the show, so very excited about that. I'm very excited about some of the names that I have seen already that she has got lined up for us, and so very, very excited about what we got coming up, and I'm also even more excited about getting closer and closer to having everybody back 100%, more specifically my right-hand person, Miss Lee, who's been with us for a very long time and makes this show run as smoothly as it does. So very, very excited about everything starting to fall back in place. I think we're going to wrap this up for the night. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning, and both shows tomorrow morning and tomorrow night. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show with Mr. CJ Sports. You are a part of the 110 Nation, so be sure to visit the110nation.com for everything related to the show. You can follow CJ on Twitter at 110Nation and on Facebook at 110 Nation Sports. Until next time.
There are lots of things you can spend your tax refund on, but one thing you don't have to spend it on, a new smartphone. Switch to Metro PCS now and get not one, but 2 free 4G LTE smartphones for brands like Samsung and LG. Plus, you're on T-Mobile's blazing fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Hurry! Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free smartphones after instant rebate. One heck of a deal, only at Metro PCS. Limited time offer. Sales tax not included in phone price. Coverage and services not available everywhere. See store for details and terms and conditions.